All right, everybody, welcome back. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Big day today. Big day, huge day. People on the stream, people on the recorded video, you see it there on your screen. Big day today. It's happening today. 30,000 YouTube views. I want to thank everyone for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The only announcements I have for today, is that today is chapter 10. It is a short lecture. It's like 20 minutes is what I did for the recorded lecture, so I'm assuming this is going to be about maybe 30 to 40. This is the last chapter for your third exam. Exam 3 is now open, chapters 8 through 10. And this is important because if you got like 100 on the first two and you get 100 again, that means that fourth test, all you're doing is clicking the button to submit it. Because you drop your lowest score out of the four. So if you went 100, 100, 100, or 198, 98, I just click the button. Or take your guesses to the answers. You will need that fourth exam for your final. So, hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You'll need all 4 exams for the final. That's only one of the clues I'm going to give you as to what's going on finals day. But anyhow, here we go. So in chapter 1, talked about the parts of an information system. We've looked at information systems very broadly so far. So in this chapter, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail as to what information systems are and why we use them. All right. So I talked about this before, the 6 parts: people, procedures, software, hardware, data, and connectivity. Those are the 6 parts. Every organization needs those to run efficiently. And computers are used in all kinds of organizations now to keep records of events. So we, as people that work for organizations, need to understand how the information flows throughout the organization. And yes, I don't care what position you have, you should understand how the communication flows. So normally, communication flows vertically and horizontally throughout organizations. So in this chapter, I'm going to talk about how information systems support the natural flow of information, talking about the 5 functional areas in an organization. Yes, for extra credit, I only want 3 people. I don't want 5. Don't give me all of them. Because if you get one of them wrong, I'm putting 0 down for the extra credit. So I just want 3 of these. The various management levels, there's only going to be 3 that I'm going to talk about, and how information flows. All right. So I love it when people try to Google this for the extra credit. Anybody watching? Do not Google this extra credit answer. This is the answer. The 5 functions of the organization. All I want for the extra credit is 3 of these. All right. I'm just going to ask the class, what does accounting deal with?
Money.
Okay, thank you. Finances, money, right? What does marketing deal with? Right, exactly.
Profits.
Right, exactly, right. Because we got to sell our product, our idea, our service, whatever we're trying to sell. Marketing is a key function. Who does human resources deal with?
Us.
There we go, humans, right? Us, exactly. You're on it today. All right. So yes, but there's a lot more to human resources than just dealing with humans. Production. Well, I'll talk about this one. Can we produce a service?
Yes.
Yes, I technically do that. Can we produce ideas?
Yes.
Sure. So your book talks about physical objects. I don't want you to just think about physical objects because that's not where all of us work. So we either provide a service, we provide ideas, or we provide actual physical products. So production has to deal with all of that. And last but not least is research. I joke with people about, some people go, well, where's the research? When you talk about toilet paper, where's the research in toilet paper? Well, now we have the roll-less ones now, right? The ones without the roll in the middle, right? No? What about your phones? How important is that for research? Is that important? No? You wanted to stick with the 90s flip phones where you had to push the button 8 times to type a letter? No? Early 2000s? No? So research is important, right? Okay. Pretty much in every organization. Research is even important in education. Because yes, without innovative ways to do things or deliver content, like I'm doing, I don't know anybody else. Nobody else in my department has this channel. It's just me. So I don't know why, but it's just me. So anyhow, we have to have innovative ways of doing things, to convey information or to teach people how to do things. Yes, I get random people that watch this channel just because they found it online. And they're like, I'm not even taking the class. I just think it's awesome. And I'm like, okay. So that's all part of my research. So anyway, here's another one too. 3 levels of management: top, middle, and supervisors. Those are the 3 that I'm going to talk about today. So I want you to think about supervisors being involved with day-to-day operations, kind of like what shift managers do. So if the operation runs 24 hours, likely each shift manager takes a shift of at least 8 hours. Some overlap. Some overlap because supervisors have to talk with supervisors, which I'll talk about in the next slide. But those are what supervisors do. Middle management, these are people like data analysts. This can range from data analysts to financial analysts to managers that manage the supervisors, maybe like a general manager perhaps. There you go, there's a good example. But those are middle managers, a lot of different types of middle management out there. Accounting people could even be in middle management as well. And then we have top managers. So I don't have a board to write on, but here's what I would write on the board. I would write a C, I would write a blank, and I would write an O. Because you can pretty much put any letter in there for the chief officers of the organization. That's top management. What's another position for top management? Ryan, you know this. Who's normally the head of the organization? No, I already said that. I said COs. But who's above them usually? Come on.
Billionaires.
Come on. Who runs the organization normally? Who runs private businesses? There's a... Come on, it rhymes with resident.
President?
President! Sorry, people that are watching this. And then below the president is the... Right, or vice presidents, right? So I usually, again, have something to draw, write all this with. So here's another question. Public versus private organizations. So this is a public organization. There are people above the president. So just like in a private organization, we're public. So there's people above the president. And usually that is a governing board for public. That's why we have a governing board that governs, that can tell our president to take a hike or not. That's our governing board. And then in private organizations, we have shareholders that elect the board of directors. There still is that board that's involved. Now, again, I told you this just a minute ago. In private organizations, the board of directors is basically hired by the shareholders who are even above them. So it's almost like an inverted triangle, if you want to look at it that way, that's on top of this triangle. Of course, for us, in public entities, yes, the voters are the ones that put the governing board in. Like, we vote the governing board in. So if there's a board member that you don't like, you can vote for another one. All right, here's the same triangle. So I added this at the bottom. This is a new line. This is a new line for the slides. So if you're watching a previous edition of this, those words I have at the bottom are not on the slide. All right. So when we look at the various managerial levels, when we look at upper management or top management, they have to deal with external entities as well. That's why there's an arrow pointing up. And there's also arrows pointing down, which means they also communicate with middle management. Then you'll notice there's a line that goes across. That means they all usually talk with each other or communicate with each other as well. You'll notice the middle management has to interact with both top management and supervisors. If you're just joining us, it's top management, middle management, supervisors. So my issue with the bottom part of this is, you'll notice that the arrows are only pointing which way on the bottom part of this? Up. They're not pointing down, because usually supervisors have to supervise like employees, right? So there should probably be arrows pointing down. And then I asked the question, do supervisors also communicate with each other? Yes, they do. They do that a lot. So my issue with this also is, there's no line that goes across like in the other levels. as well there should be. Alright, so this is going to be a quick one today. You're like, wait a minute, are we like halfway through this? Yeah, we're getting there. Alright, so anyhow, and looking at those three managerial levels again, supervisors deal with the day-to-day operations of the organization, so they deal with a lot of transactions, and they deal with these through transaction processing systems. Yes, I'll talk about these in a minute. I'm going to talk about each one of these. Middle management can deal with either a management information system or a decision support system. Yes, I'll talk about these in a moment as well. And top management deals with something called an executive support system. So let's go through each one. This is not in your book, by the way. I found this online and I liked it so much I decided to use it. So, we scan a box of cornflakes because we don't want the cashier to do it. We're at self-checkout and we just want to get out of there. So we scan the item or items. That becomes a business event or transaction, which gets fed to the transaction processing system, which we can generate detailed reports from. But it also gets fed into our organization's database, which has a bunch of other different data from different systems, as you can see here. Yes, I'm going to talk about a few of these. So keep in mind that transaction processing systems record day-to-day transactions. And one of the most essential uses of a TPS is in accounting. So here we go. This is part of your extra credit, people watching and everybody here. So, that's why I have an exclamation point in the middle there. So, as you can see, there are 5 things for accounting that get fed into what is called the general ledger. And those are sales orders, so any sales order that occurs during the day, that all gets fed in. Accounts receivable, this is money that we are owed by other people. There, I said it very clearly this time, so nobody's going to miss that on the extra credit. This is money that we are owed by other people. So we've rendered a service, we've given them goods, but they have not paid us back yet. Accounts payable, on the other hand, is, well, money we owe to other people or other companies. So we buy items, basically on credit, and then we pay them whenever it's due. We should be paying them by when it's due, but that's accounts payable. That's when we owe the money. Inventory. There are a lot of organizations out there that need inventory and have to continually order it. Purchasing is another big time function. That even includes like construction projects. And any other type of project that an organization has to deal with, the purchasing department is usually involved in that. And last but not least is payroll. We usually have to pay people in our organization. So yes, payroll is important to some people, I think. Unless you like working for free, then I guess payroll isn't a problem. No? Okay. That all gets fed to the general ledger. Oh, I did not talk about income statements. There's going to be something on the quiz that pertains to something I haven't talked about, so don't worry, we'll take care of that in a few. Alright, anyway, next, management information systems. So middle managers can either use management information systems or decision support systems. So you'll notice here that it produces predetermined, or as I call them, standard reports. We can't make any changes. So the difference between MIS and DSS, we can make changes with DSS, we cannot make changes with MIS. With MIS, it's a fixed, predetermined report. We cannot fix that. We can put in parameters that we wanted to pull up, like dates and stuff, and dollar amounts and stuff, but outside of that, it's a predetermined report. So some of these reports are what we call periodic reports. They're run weekly, monthly, quarterly, bi-weekly, hourly. Some like to run reports every hour, every shift. That's a periodic report. Exception reports, when you hear the word exception, usually these are reports that show massive variances. Or if somebody made a data entry mistake, you'll see an exception report where it will show who made the mistake and when, or they mistyped something, and it doesn't look normal. But those are exception reports. Demand reports, well, usually we want to run those pretty quickly, so we want them on demand. As a data analyst, I'm going to talk a lot about this at our next, wait, no, we're not meeting next Tuesday, are we? So 2 weeks from today, I'm going to talk about databases, and I'll talk more about my experiences with those, being that I was 20 years as a data analyst. So, decision support systems. You'll notice that I have it in bold and italicized words. We use decision support systems to get answers to unexpected and generally non-recurring problems. So this is when somebody would come into my office and say, Nick, we need you to find out this. And they hand me a post-it note with all the stuff on it. And I'm like, couldn't email that to me? No, we won't. This is a top secret thing that we want you to go find in the system. And I'm like, okay. So I would use a decision support system. So you will notice that it says on here as well, the reports do not have a fixed format. So whoever is using the decision support system determines what the report is going to end up looking like. What fields are going to be included, what data is going to be included, and I'll talk more about this in a couple weeks. Of course, you're all going to get to see Microsoft Access on Thursday, which is going to be another nice short session. By the way, if you're just joining us, I'm almost finished. So, the decision support system consists of 4 parts. It consists of the user, or us, the decision makers. It also involves an operating system of some kind. There's also data, which we can get internally, or if we have access to it, an external database as well we can use. And last but not least, decision support systems also have decision models. And there are, as you can guess, there's 3 of them. I just showed you the triangle earlier. Remember the triangles? So supervisors are going to use what we call operational models. So this assists the lower level managers to accomplish the daily activities and objectives of the organization. Middle management are going to use tactical models. So usually this is used for financial and sales promotion planning. And top management, or upper level management, needs strategic models, which assist in long-range planning. So anytime you hear the word strategic, that's long-range. Operational, that's day-to-day. And tactical can be any range of dates. All right, moving on. Last but not least is the executive support system. So you will notice here that the 2, I'm going to call them images. I'm not going to call them slides. So the purpose of an executive support system is for ease of use. So, for example, our college's chancellor goes into the system and logs in and says, okay, I want to know information about our key performance indicators, which are all these suckers right here. These are KPIs. So I want to know about all past due accounts that are plus 3%, total sales plus 5%. I want to know if everything's on schedule. And so they basically have drop-down menus where they choose all of this stuff, including date ranges, that generate nice, easy to understand charts. Because usually, where is upper management all day? What are they in? Upper management's not out with the customers. Where meetings. Thank you. Yes. I've said this for years. That yes, upper management are always in meetings. I've seen people even on this campus, you look at their calendar, it's booked all day. Sometimes it's 5 different things, and I'm at the same time, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, there's no way I want that job. So anyhow, no way would I want that job. But anyway, just keep that in mind that this is designed, it's sophisticated software, but it's designed for ease of use. So that, because keep in mind, upper management, a lot of them don't actually have technical skills, so they need something easy to understand. All right, here's part of the trick questions on your extra credit / quiz. So there are 2 types of information workers. There are data workers and there are knowledge workers. So knowledge workers create the data. And yes, anybody that has worked in a grocery store or worked somewhere where you have to scan the items, you are a knowledge worker. You are creating that data. Analysts, however, are data workers that communicate and distribute that data. But both of them together are what we call information workers. That's the trick part to the question. Speaking of which, I'm going to skip down to knowledge work systems. So knowledge work systems are what knowledge workers use, yes, to create data. So computer-aided drafting, computer-aided manufacturing programs, knowledge workers would use that to develop schematics, develop models, but they're creating that data. And then people will say, well, what if I'm creating images in Photoshop? Well, I guess you could argue that you're creating data, and I guess Photoshop would be your knowledge work system. So yes, you can argue that too. But keep in mind, now we have plenty of office automation systems that are out there now, and those support the data workers that have to communicate and distribute all this information, all this stuff. And keep in mind too that yes, there's project management programs, which is used to manage projects an organization has, and there's video conferencing systems, which almost all of us use now. That's all of you too. I know, for those just joining us, they're like, you're almost finished? You've only been on for, I know. Okay, I like nice short weeks, this is one of them. So there are expert systems that are out there as well. All of you have likely used an expert system because it does incorporate artificial intelligence, and there is a knowledge-based database behind it as well. So anywhere where you've used artificial intelligence, that's an expert system. And these systems are developed in all kinds of different fields that you can think of. You're like, there's no way he just did this. Well, yeah, it's STEAM Day. You're supposed to be going to the STEAM events today online. You're not supposed to be here in class. They started at 11, so I just wanted to make sure you were out of here before then. Yes, I know. I can see the time. Yes, this may be a record. Anyway, if you thought chapter 7 was fast, this one's even faster. I mean, I could have made this 3 hours. But anyhow, today's career in IT is the Information Systems Manager, which oversees the work of programmers, computer specialists, systems analysts, and other computer professionals. You kind of want to think about this position as almost like a general manager for a regular business. They have to have knowledge in all these different areas to be able to oversee these people. So that if they have a question for the Information Systems Manager, the manager should be able to answer the question. So we're talking about strong technical backgrounds, master's degree, strong leadership skills, communication skills, and you see the pay on this though? This is the highest one yet. So the median pay is $171,200. That means that half of those people make more than that. But how many hours do you think these people put in per week? Nick, there's not a number for that. Like 100? Like 100? What's that? No, it's not a 40-hour-a-week job. You're working maybe twice that in some organizations. It's insane. I saw one poor guy who had that job here, and he's all disheveled and stuff. I'm like, how many hours did you work this week? He goes, has to have been 90. I was here all night. I'm like, do I want that job? No, I'll pass. 90 hours a week? I mean, I guess if you love it, but when do you see your family? Great question, right? He has a family. That's what I'm more concerned about. Yeah, I know how that goes, working 44 hours at a time, and you finally get to see your family, and you're like, can I get some sleep now? I've been out for 44 hours. Just need some sleep, that's all. Anyway, I want to thank everybody for watching. 30,000 today. We hit 30,000 today. So I want to thank you all for the 30,000. It's been nuts. The last 90 days, it's almost been 15,000 for 90 days. So half of that almost came in the last 90 days. Yeah, that's insane, right? So yeah, the rest of the year was the other 15,000. But people at home, people across the country, people all over the world, I appreciate you watching us. People in class, you were awesome today. Don't forget, it's STEAM Day. I sent you all a message in Canvas. Yes, I sent you. Oh, that's right. I can turn the camera back over here now. I sent you all a message in Canvas. So please check your inbox. Virtual sessions, if you want to learn more about computers, you want to learn more about all that other stuff, cybersecurity, all kinds of other topics, go to it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and take care.